Hello and welcome to another Let's Play of Eldfall Chronicles Northern Wind. And we will see if this time, third time's the charm for the Temple Grounds lookout. I have uploaded 2 other videos previously where I absolutely got stomped. I can't say it differently. I made a few adjustments. Basically, Sagan received 2 daggers as a starting equipment, and I will also switch here that Anari and Nara are at the same side. I recording this on another day because the last day I didn't have enough time to repeat that third time, and in the afternoon I had a thought, okay, why not do it this way? But I cannot remember why I thought it to be a good idea. I just thought, okay, this might be a good idea, and I will be a little bit more leeway instead of targeting the 2-ranged opponent who basically, would be able to use the distracted hostile Blue Rasetsu rule. Because these 2 didn't have any ranged weapons, I will rolling which one of these are going to hit. So with all of this, the heroes are still in the crouch state. I will just not put the counter up there. I will remember it, hopefully. And with this, let's start as per the scenario, quest rule that it was on the first side. The quest starts with the hostile's turn with all heroes crouched. So, according to this, since the Bone Walkers have the lower tier, they start first, starting with this one, 1, 2. Both Anari and Nara will use her Foresight ability, and 1 to 10, Anari is it. It's a 15, so this attack will go to Nara. As I said, the Foresight rule, so let's see what the attack sequence will do. 2 and a 7, both will hit. Nara has an armor of 3 because of her Ironhide currently. Therefore, the power of 10 is reduced by 3 to 7 or less. And with a 6 and a 20, this will be a hit. And therefore, Nara decides to use a dodge action because she's not in the same space. And with this, she will get over the crouch. She will be able to recover from the crouch state. So with this, agility of 13. Let's see if she managed to roll it. It's an 11. And with this, she successfully dodges the 2 and the 7, and also is in the same space as the Bone Walker, who now has to attack Nara once again. And this time, since she is not in a space where her partner, Sagan, is, she will not get the bonus, but Sagan has Protector may be used on the partner without spending AP. So the Bone Walker will attack Nara. This will trigger Sagan to use Protector and become the new target of the attack without spending an AP. And Nara, will she react? Nara will react. She will react by using an attack by herself. So starting with the Bone Walker attacking Sagan, who has used the Protector skill. It is 1 hit. Sagan has an armor of 6. The Bone Walker has a power of 10. Therefore, the Bone Walker ability of +1, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 is not in effect. Therefore, no benefits here. But in total, he needs a 4 or less to wound, and with an 8, Sagan is safe. But now, since the Bone Walker is out of activation points, the Claw special rule gets used, and it is boosted by the accessory Reinforced Claw. Therefore, Nara has a total of 3 strikes. She will use to attack the Bone Walker, and since she gets +3 on offense on defense because of Lover's Bound, Her offense is currently 17. So with this, all 3, 4, 15, and 11, all 3 hits. She has a power because of the reinforced claw +2. So total of 14 minus the armor of 2, 12 or less. 4, 7, and 10, these are 3 wounds. And with this, the Bone Walker goes down. And just as the quest rules say, persistent hostile, when a hostile becomes incapacitated or dead, do not remove it from the field unless as a result of an effect. So, with this, Nara's out of activation points, but I still have 6 left, and here are only 5. So we will see how this is going. Next, this Bone Walker will activate. It has to walk into the space of the heroes, but it has only a movement of 2. And walk towards the enemy, not run. So with this, 1, 2. This in this instant, Theros will try to activate, and he will try to shoot the undead as soon as it is here with his Thanian crossbow as a reaction and attack of opportunity. Let me just put away the die. Using his sniper and his assassination 1 ability. With a 17, he has an increased accuracy of 14 plus the 3 for the reach. So we are at a total of 17. It's barely a hit. Total power of 19 minus armor 2, so a 12 or 17 minus armor of 2, it's a total of 15 or less. And with a 16, he failed to hit the undead. Now, the undead will walk into the same space and will try to attack Anari. Here, Sagan will react. He will once again use his protector skill to become the target of the attack. And will Anari and or Theros activate? Anari will use her foresight. Theros will not activate, and Anari will use her foresight to see what the attack will. Basically, no. She will activate. Do I have any melee? Here we have the Water Lash as a melee, Deep Freeze as a melee, ranged. Yeah, Enchantment Burning Touch could be a melee. Does she has Art of Enchanting 2? So Flameskin is out of order. Ranged and ranged. Okay, so basically she could use a Water Lash, which she will use. Even if it's only power 8. But hey, it's knockback 2, which might be beneficial. So yeah, she not really has any range options. So Water Lash from Anari. Good, but before that, the Bone Walkers attack at Sagan. First of all, 10 or less to hit. 17 and 11, that's all. Now, Anari, using her Water Lash with strike equal to stamina, therefore 2 attacks. Both are successful because 7 and 16 are equal or less than her intelligence of 16. Power 8 minus armor 2, 6 or less to destroy the undead. Not the case, but it's a knockback 2, therefore 1, 2 spaces back with the undead. Now, the Blue Rasetsu will activate. I totally forgot that these 2 are... Okay, he's still crouched, as I said. 1 strike, okay. So, nothing happened, 2 hits, and then it was back, because only 1 hit, and saying only moved 4 in between. Now, the Blue Rasetsu activates. 1, 2, 3. So basically what I wanted to say with my recapturing what they did was that nothing else changed. And these 3 basically are still crouched. And now Theros, from his prone position, will shoot at the Blue Rasetsu. And as I had read in my first video about this quest, as soon as this Rasetsu is hit, it will be removed from the field because it was just an illusion. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It could have used its Torment Soul, but before that, Theros. Or will this then be a confront? Wait a second, 1, 2, 3. It is still here. And in this instance, all three will try to react to the Blue Rasetsu with a range attack, because the Blue Rasetsu has the Charm 2, and any enemy declaring reaction against this model must first perform an intro. So let's see if the heroes are able to perform any attack. Anari, this one is cocked. It's a true Anari is allowed. Sagan is also allowed. And Theros is also allowed. And I just remembered that I have to draw a Chaos card. These are a lot of rules where I really have to get the hang on. I will just do this run. Spawner as on the space that has an intrigue and is closest to the entrance. If there are no intrigue spawner, okay. Spawn one hostile. It is here. And yeah, with all that, let's redo this. So basically putting it back, and the hostile now will activate. First activation for the undead is walk to spaces. And here it is a run. So basically it moves for 1, 2, 3, 4, gets up to here, target closest enemy. So it will then walk into this space. And since these three only have one activation point left, it will, let's see who it will attack. 1 to 5, 6 to 1 to 5, 6 to 10, and Sagan will be 11 to 15. It's a 9. This will be Anari. Anari will wait with her reaction, and in this instance, Sagan will activate for a chance to, whenever you suffer a wound while using Protector, place a synergy. Oh no, Sagan will, absolutely use his Protector skill. And the other two will wait. As I said, Anari will wait with her activation. Here, the attack has a strike of 1, so the Vengeful Spirit. With a 10, it exactly hits Sagan. And Sagan will suffer a hit of power 10 or less. With a 13, Sagan is not wounded. Anari will react. She will react because she has to free Theros so that he can activate. And since she is still down, she will use once again the Water Lash just to push the hostile away. Only strike 1 because she is crouched. With a 2, it is enough, since this is a spell. First of all, 1, 2 push back. And it has a power of 8. The undead, the Vengeful Spirit has no armor, therefore 8 or less. It's a 7, and with this, the Water Lash is enough to destroy the undead. Good, also no special ability. I really have to get up the excuse me, I really have to get up the enchanted ones. Now, the Blue Rasetsu walks up, and now I will use the result from Theros previously, that he managed to do his mirror check. Luckily I said that before, because the 12 wouldn't have been enough. So, as I said, I will use the previous result. With a 12 he will hit the Blue Rasetsu, even if it's only a check, and the Blue Rasetsu will go away. Why I did it? Because I think it is more fun than getting stamped a third time. Okay, with this, now I think we are marginally in the game. At least this is the first turn. All of my heroes are still standing and not wounded. Even through some lucky die roll and a lucky ambush, because in the first mission I make a horrible mistake with dodging all, then having less activation point than the hostiles, and the Blue Rasetsu basically stormed the party. I only had Sagan and Theros left, and they managed up to here. After the first encounter, they were done basically, or the second encounter, because Theros was the only young, and Nara and Neri were basically out of the game the whole time. The second time, I drew that an Oni Marauder immediately spawned here, who then walked here, and the first activation was his sweep 1, basically annihilated all of my heroes. Now, with all 4 heroes still standing, and with the Undead, or the Bone Walker, still here, let's see. Excuse me. I will start with Anari. She is able to cast and spell onto herself in the strategic phase due to her artificial, and she will try to get Soul Leech onto herself, or more precisely, she will cast Soul Leech onto herself to gain some mana token. And I will start with Anari. Yeah, with Anari. She will use her first activation to cast, not sorcery, to cast Burning Touch onto herself for burn 1. And I do that because, where is the quick start rules? Here, quick rule guide, because burn, each successful roll costs a wound. If this wound causes a mortal to become dead, it is removed from the field. So, this is an additional wound, which basically can remove models from the field. And Sagan now has a magical attack, which is good against the Vengeful Spirits. And before she casts that on Sagan, Anari will move 1, 2 to spread the party a little bit around and get rid of the crouch state. Then Sagan will activate. He will walk 1, 2 and attack the Bone Walker. The Bone Walker, in its reaction, enemy within space, melee attack. So it will react by doing a confrontation. For this, Sagan has 2 attacks, and he will use second wind, his fencing 3 art, for 3 attacks, and the Bone Walker has only 1 strike. It's a defense value of 10, and with an 8, the undead successfully hits at least, or has a chance to hit. Sagan has a 4, a 9, and a natural 1. Therefore, the 4 is cancelled from the confrontation. The other 2s are hits. First of all, it's a power of 15, minus 2, 13 or less to wound. This is the first wound, the critical hit 15 or less. It's another wound. Let's have a look. If a model suffers a wound with this trait, okay, and it's only 1 additional. So the additional burning with power 15 and ignoring armor, it is an additional wound, and with this, the undead is removed from the field, burned to crisps. So, this game starts off far better than my first 2 games. Now, Theros will 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will use a run action 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, triggering encounter 1. I will read it out once again. Crossing the desecrated temple Bailey, you begin to ascend up the crumbling stairway to the main building, the ancestral hall. Resonating humming fills the air as the haunted silhouette vanishes behind the corner ahead. Hastening your steps, you round the bend only to catch a fleeting glimpse of a massive iron club swinging down towards your head. So we are placing 1 Oni Marauder on encounter 1. Here we are. Place encounter 2 on 1, I will do that in a second, and move or place Blue Rasetsu 1 space north. 1 place north of 2, this is this one. Also, the hero who triggered the encounter suffers an attack with a surprise trait from the Oni Marauder. If the hero has a normal activation available, they may dodge the attempt to dodge to avoid the hit. Surprise attack reduce the hero's attack or dodge attribute by half. Heroes with vigilance can ignore this penalty. So, he has not vigilance, but yeah, that was stupid, I thought, because of clairvoyance. So, let's see if Theros gets with an attack. With this attack, I say an attack, it's only one. It's a 3, this will hit Theros. And will it wound? With a 6, it will definitely wound. And I will just place Theros back here because this is a 2 space. Yeah, Theros is staggered. He used a run action, so absolutely not getting there. And he gets a wound token. Here we are now with Theros staggered. But now I will activate Sagan 1, 2. Since this space is covered completely, Sagan is now allowed to attack. The enemy marauder used an attack, so with this it has only one activation left, which it will use to confront Sagan. So the Oni Marauder will one attack. Sagan will use his 3 attacks once again. Oni Marauder rolled a natural 1. And Sagan rolled really bad, 2 17s and a 19, so he absolutely fumbled this. And the Oni Marauder rolls us 3, which is absolutely enough to wound Sagan and stagger him once again. So this can become quite dangerous because it's a sweep, sweeping ability. Now let's see what we can do here. Nara has still 2 activations and a Nari has 1. So we have become poisoned. Continuous. Necrotic wounds 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Necrotic wounds 1, 2, and attacking. Before that, no, I don't have to do that because the Oni Marauder is out of activation points. So Nara's first activation 1, 2, 3, and she will cast Necrotic Wounds onto herself. So Soul Leech and Necrotic Wounds, giving her Cleave and Poison 2. And the next 1, 2, she will walk into the next space to attack here. And she will use her claws. The Oni Marauder is out of activation points, therefore an additional attack, which will be 3. Plus 3 because she's in the same field as her partner. So total offense of 17. These are 3 hits. She has an increased power of 14 minus the armor of 3, 11 or less to wound. This one is cocked. Yeah, a total of 6 wound onto the Oni Marauder is enough to put the beast down. Using her hit and run ability, she now has hit and run movement step. This model may cancel engage. If it declares an attack in its activation, it may perform a walk at the end of the resolution. So she only has a movement of 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. She will not have the Necrotic Wound spell onto her. So the Oni Marauder is still standing with 1 wound left. But Soul Leech gains whenever the enchanted model successfully deals a wound. So 1, 2, and I will use a synergy token to put a third one onto Nara. And now she is allowed to use walk 1, 2, just to get back out of the fight. And now Anari basically has to save the day. And declare movements, action other than idle. Wait a second, sorry, she has a movement 3. I was at her activation points. I was just thinking, hey, something isn't right about it. So, back to the previously. She's standing here, Oni Marauder is down. And since she used an attack action, she's allowed to do a walk. So 1, 2, getting up here, and now Anari will use a walk action 1, 2. Does she has any? 1, 2, and stay here. She will not convert anything into mana points. And now Sagan will walk 1, 2 up to here to get ready to throw a dagger. Because now it's the hostile's turn. And this is one of the reasons why I decided to give Sagan activation points. Well, not activation points, range attacks. Because now he has a chance to attack the Blue Rasetsu, who in this instance, let me just put up the encounters. In this can place or move the Blue Rasetsu distracted. So with this, the Rasetsu is still distracted, and before I do the hostile's turn, I will finally place encounter 2. So give me a second. Now, as I placed encounter 2, the Blue Rasetsu will activate. It will walk 1, 2, 3, which will trigger a reaction by Sagan, who 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 he's throwing a dagger because the throwing distance is up to half his toughness, so 7, 13 half is 6.5, round up, but he has to pass a moral 17 check previously. With the 2 it is successful. Will he hit with an accuracy of 12? It doesn't matter really. 18 would not be enough. But as the statement of B001, B00 is as soon as it is attacked. So the Blue Rasetsu vanishes once more. Good. With all this done, excuse me, we will get back to the hero's turn. And I'll start with Nara. Once again, seeing what she will cast onto herself. I think this time she will cast onto herself the Spectral Side Spell, just because we are here at the Undead and I have no better idea. Or do I have a better idea? Yeah, come on, let's go with Necrotic Wounds, Cleave and Poison 2, even if Poison 2 is not necessary, but the Cleave ability is quite nice. Third time with the charm, as I said. With nothing better to do, Soul Leech just to get her a few mana token, which could be nice. So, Soul Leech. And with this, let's get the party a little bit closer together. Anari will start. She will walk 2 spaces, 1, 2, and she will once again cast, just to give magical attacks and ignore armor, and sweep 1 and burn. Sagan, or will she give him sweep? She will give him melting touch to ignore armor. And then let's go with Nara. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She will use a run action? She will, let's go with someone else. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I will not go with someone else. I will go with Anari once again. 1, 2. And she will cast this time Melting Touch at Nara. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nara will walk 6 spaces up to here. Theros will walk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 spaces up to here. Sorry, Nara will not walk so far. Nara will stay here next to the Anima Router. This is quite an interesting situation because if she, I will rule that my question would be, is she able to walk into the space when the model is not removed because the Anima Router takes up 2 spaces? I will say no, he will stay there, that makes it easier, but Nara then will only move 2 spaces and try to cast a second chance on Theros because Theros is wounded and Nara is my dedicated healer. So, second chance, strike value of 2. Will she successfully cast it with her first 1, 2, 3 with her first attempt? 5 and 2. It is, so Theros has no wound. And now she will walk 1, 2, 3 spaces up to here and cast second chance of Sagan, who's also wounded. 13 and 17. The 13 is just enough, so Sagan, also receives his wound. The wound Sagan got was not due to his protector skill, so I think I cannot do anything with that. But now Theros will walk 1, 2, 3, 4. Sagan will activate, go 2 spaces up to here. And Neri will go up to here. Up to here, and I will put Nara here so that Sagan can switch as possible, and if he fails, the sweeping attack will not hit all of them. Now it's the hostile turn. Let's see what the card will do. Dire Ambush. Spawn a tier 3 hostile 2-space array from the lowest number encounter of the field towards the entrance. 1, 2, which would be right here. This is also a 4-space, so this is possible. If no encounters are on the field, spawn a hostile 1-space. Okay, it is an encounter on the field. So, let me just grab the Oni Marauder, reposition the miniatures, and then we will go right into the ambush. With the Oni Marauder in place, I will see which one of these two will be attacked. 1 to 10, 11 to 20. It's 3, so therefore Theros will be attacked. And this means that Sagan will not try to make a protector because it costs him a P, and Aneri is definitely more in peril than Theros. Theros has only a defense value of 8, which is not good, and he will try to dodge. Theros will try to dodge, the Oni Marauder will attack. And Nara will... will she attack or will she dodge? She will use her foresight to wait what happens. And Sagan will... Yeah, Sagan has ignore armor, he will definitely strike. So, the Oni Marauder, offense of 14. 7 and 11 will hit if Theros fails to dodge this. It's a 7, it is successfully. And the sweep 1 on a successful attack roll or mod is within the same space adjacent and line of sight of the melee weapon. So this was not a successful attack roll. Oh, successful attack roll, not hit. So these are 2 successful hits, attack rolls. So both of these will be hit. So therefore Nara will also try to dodge the attack with her agility of 13. So both of these successfully dodge. Nara will stay where she is. Theros will jump 1, 2 back because he has the dodge ability. Because he has movement of 3, sorry. Nara will stay where she is. And now Sagan is allowed, just removing activation point, he's allowed to attack. 1 for his reaction because he's a sentinel, and he will use second wind because this attack the Oni Marauder is not allowed to defend against. So these are 2 strikes at a defense value of 14, which are 2 hits with a 5 and a 3. The 16 misses. He has the Burning Touch ability. He's vigilant, so this doesn't matter. He has currently Melting Touch, so ignore armor. 2 hits, and it is sweep 1 and bleed. So let's go with 15 and less. 16 and a 9, so it is 1 weak token and it is 1 wound. Then comes the burn with a natural 1. This is another wound onto the Oni Marauder. And now it has the bleed. And the bleeding trait is absolutely not written inside here. I will just look it up and then we will continue with this attack sequence. I looked it up and the bleed trait causes the model to get into the bleeding state, and the bleeding state causes the model to make a toughness roll in its own strategic phase, and if it fails the toughness roll, it loses another wound. But before that, the Oni Marauder once again is allowed to attack, and it will attack Nara. Nara will use her veteran's intuition to see what happens before she decides to do something, and Sagan has to declare now, and Sagan decides to use his protector skill to walk into the same space and become the prime target. And Theros will attack with his snipe ability. So before all of that, let's see the Oni Marauder. 2 attacks, offense 14 against Sagan, 17 and 19. These are 2 failed attacks. So Nara saves her attack, and Sagan does not gain any retribution. But Nara will use this to make an attack action with her claws. And since the Oni Marauder is out of activations, she also has the Melting Touch enchantment from Nari. So 3 attacks from her. Since now she's in the same space as Sagan, she has an offense of 17, so the 18 misses. And ignoring the armor, the 15 it's a power of 14 only, so she failed to wound the Oni Marauder. And now Theros with his snipe attack, 14 hits, total power of 19 minus armor 3 is 16 or less. It is enough to put a 3rd wound onto the Oni Marauder. So, with all this, it's a new turn for the heroes. The Oni Marauder is with 2 wounds, 2 activation points, and all the heroes have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, with all this, let's see what we can do with Nara. Nara will go with Soul Leech onto herself. She still has no mana token, so Soul Leech onto herself. And with this, we have to get somehow these are right. Burning Touch is possible to be cast in melee, but not the Melting Touch. Okay. The Oni Marauder has some defense of 10. Yeah, I think I will start with Theros, who will activate first. He will attack the Oni Marauder, who, in his reactive role, target of attacker outside of 1 space or no line of sight, dodge towards it. So the Oni Marauder will dodge. Theros, once again, sniping. With a 9, he will hit. Is the Oni Marauder able to dodge this? With an 11, absolutely not, but he's still allowed to move 1 space. And now Theros, similar to previously, power 19, minus armor 3, 16 or less. It's a 5, which is enough to put a 4th and final wound onto the Oni Marauder, who is now incapacitated. Good, this was a lucky shot. Now, Anari will use her first activation. Sorry, there were already some tokens. Will use her first activation to cast Melting Touch on Sagan. And she will use her second activation to cast Melting Touch on Nara. So both have a burn trait and ignore armor. And with this, she's out of activations. Excuse me. Sagan will activate. He will move 1, 2. I learned from my mistakes. Sagan will now be the one who is triggering the encounters. And encounter 2. You move cautiously to the spot where the figure last stood. The ancestral hall looms ahead. Wooden pillars, once proud and imposing, stand dimmed by age and neglect. Their surface is worn and cracked. As you reach the top of the stairs, the figure that was just there vanishes into thin air. It does not have a soul. What is this? A mind projection, perhaps. Again, a familiar, unnerving presence slithers through your mind. To your left, an eerie green glow draws your attention. A Brona, the figure reappears beside it, now almost fully opaque. He is tall, his cerulean form crowned with large curved crowns. Draped in a tiger pelt and the tattered robes of an abbot, his appearance is both regal and menacing. Through his features are striking arrogance twisted them into something unsettling. The resemblance to Gurren we recently faced is undeniable. This is another Rasetsu, a higher form of Oni. His humanoid form speaks of the countless souls devoured to achieve his evolved state. He stands with a relaxed, mocking posture, exuding an air of effortless superiority, as if your very existence could be snuffed out with a casual flick of his clawed hand. Yeah, in regard of the first two games, absolutely. The burner beside him contains not incense, but a heap of inscribed bones and cracked skulls. Without hesitation, he plunges his hand into the pile. Green flames erupt, the light casting twisted shadows. Ghostly fog spills from the burner, thickening the air with spectral presence. From beneath the snow, you hear the unsettling rattle of bones and faint tormented shrieks. Behind you, the ogroid you thought dead begins to twitch, his body stirring to life. The fallen undead around you begin to rise, adding to the grim contrast of the hall's once sacred islands. I will say that it is this Oni who will be revived, because this is I didn't had to draw the dire ambush. It could have been another chaos card. The Incense burner is now a profane burner, as expected. And the Blue Rasetsu move the Blue Rasetsu onto the middle space of Ancestral Hall. So with the middle, he's moved. I will just place him here. Even when I'm not sure, because here move or place, and here it is only move. So we will wait about what will happen there. Place one Forgotten Hero on 2 and another on 4. Forgotten Hero on 2 is here, and on 4 is down here in the corner. So, okay. Nothing on 3. And the Fallen Oni Marauder gains 1 HP. And all of its activations. 1, 2, and he has already 3 wounds. Here he is. Okay, this was Sagan's activation. I have to remember that. And place encounter 3 on 3, so up here. I will just do that, and then I will continue with the hero's turn. Okay, now I place also encounter 3, and with this Oni Marauder here, Nara will activate 1, 2, or 1, 2. Before that, Theros will activate. He will use a dodge action to 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, just switch, go up to here. 1, 2, yeah, it's a dodge action to cancel the engage state. And now Nara will activate. She will walk 1, 2 up next to the Oni Marauder and attack him, who will attack in return. So, the Oni Marauder, defense of 8, it's a 7. Nara, offense of 14. 14 and 4, so the 14 is a successful hit. Ignoring armor, total power of 14. It's a 20, this is not a wound. So, Nara with her second attack will try to be better this time. The Oni Marauder with a 19 fails. 7 and 20, the 7 is a successful hit. Here the 20. And here the 19. 14 or less, it's a 20, she fails again. But this will be enough to put 2 weak tokens onto the Oni Marauder. And now I still have Sagan, who will be 1, 2. Will he stay where he is? Will he attack? Or try to attack? 2, 3, 4. It will be could go there. 2, 3, 4. Sagan will he stay where he is? 1, 2. He could throw the dagger. 3, 4. He could get into the same space as this one. Yeah, come on. Sagan will use a run action 1, 2, 3, 4 to engage the Forgotten Hero. So, and with this, this finishes the hero's turn. And it is now the hostiles' turn. Let me just make a short break and I will see you afterwards. So, here is quite a bit to do because the Profane Burner resurrects all undead hostiles. The Necromantic Fox does -3 attack rolls to range attack, and casting a range spell suffers an attack at roll 20. Hostiles are not affected by this rule, and how to cleanse the burner. But with all this, I have still too few activation points across the board, so this Oni Marauder will activate first as it is on his hostile card to attack Nara, who, because of Lover's Bound and Sagan engaged with another hostile, suffers -3 on her defense and offense. So therefore she will use a dodge action or will use her foresight to see what will happen. The Oni Marauder, 14 or less, 20 and 15, so Nara will save her activation. No, she will use it. No, she will save. Will she use it? Will she not use it? She will use it to dodge 2 spaces. And being 1 space here, the Oni Marauder has to activate again. And it will walk up to here before the Oni Marauder manages to get there. Theros will activate with 1 of his 2 activation points. I have to remember that. Yeah, I will have to remember that. And he will attack with a snipe ability. Nara will once again use her foresight. So first of all, snipe ability Assassination. With a 13, even with a -3, it is able. And he also, okay, only hazy. It is not hazy. It is necrotic fog. So he hits 19 minus armor 3, 16 or less. And with a 17, it is not enough, but it is enough to put on a 3rd wound token, weak point. The Oni Marauder will once again attack. Nara will use her foresight skill. And it's an 8 and a 19, so 1 hit. And Nara will spend her first activation to attack also, and she will exploit the 3 weak points, which is enough because it is enough of the equal to the Oni Marauder's tier level to turn this automatically into a critical hit. So with a 12, normally it would be, but because of Lover's Bound it wouldn't have hit. But since I said that I will turn it into, where is it? Natural 1, she wins this confrontation. And since she has still the Melting Touch, she ignores armor. 14 or less. With a 9 it is enough. And the burn with a 7 is also enough to burn the Oni Marauder's remains from the field. So with this, now we go from the lowest to the highest. Starting here, the Bone Walker only walks 1, 2 its first activation, 1, 2 its second activation. Slow but steady, it comes closer, and now I can give. Now I have enough activation points. The Vengeful Spirit, it will use a run. Here Nara dodged, and now she retaliates, so Nara is now out of activation points. Oh, sorry, Nara, not Theros. Theros did the deed. Theros failed, and Nara, okay, now here. These 2 are out of activation points, so now the ghost, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is within 3 spaces of Anari, and Anari will use a reaction, turn for her attack, and cast, where is it, Ice Spikes onto the Vengeful Spirit. So since now she will cast the yeah, Ice Spikes, she only has a maximum power of 11, so she will cast Frost. Wait a second, spray will affect all in the line, so no, Ice Spikes. Ice Spikes it is. 16 or less, with a 7 it is enough. And now one hit at power 11. With a 7 it is also enough to put the Vengeful Spirit down. Because it's a magical attack, it will not be halved from the power value. All for tier 1 have activated. Now let's go with tier 2. The Forgotten Hero will, outside of enemy idle, will walk, stop within line of sight of enemy. So it will stay here, because Sagan is in line of sight, and since it has line of sight, it will attack with the Roarbow. Since this is a range attack in melee, it will suffer a -4 penalty and has strike 1. So -4 penalty, it's a total of 10, and if it rolls high enough, it will hit its teammate. With an 18, 17, 18, 19, and 20 is just enough to hit the teammate. So power of 13 minus armor 6. It is not enough to wound. And now it will stay idle and will attack again. With a 17, since it stayed idle and used its marksman class for this, it has an accuracy of 14, therefore it hits -4. It is not enough, and since it is a melee, it once again with a 17 hits its teammate. And this time with a 4, it at 7 or less, it also wounds its teammate, which is quite interesting. Even maybe a bit funny. But since the other Forgotten Hero is also an undead, it is immune to the poison 1. But this undead is staggered, so it loses an activation point. Okay, that was curious, because now the other Forgotten Hero will activate and attack Sagan. I didn't thought about it this way, and Sagan will react by attacking in his turn. So, defense 14 of Sagan against the offense of 14 from the Forgotten Hero. The Forgotten Hero has 2 attacks, and Sagan, 1 attack for his reactive, 1 for Sentinel. I think this time he will use Fencing Art 1, which is Masterful Parry, to give the undead a -3 modifier to his attack roll, to his offense, so it has only an 11. Natural 1 and 10, and Sagan natural 1 and 9. So the natural ones both hit, and the others are disregarded. So 2 critical hits for each. The undead hero has, the Forgotten Hero has a power with a sword of -2, therefore 11 minus the armor of Sagan 6 becomes an 11 minus 6, 5 or less. With a 4, this is enough to put a wound on Sagan, and also the poison 1. And poison 1 suffers a wound which becomes weakened. So he is currently also weakened until its next strategy phase, okay. And Sagan needing a 15 or less, 18 is not enough to wound. So he shot 2 times, he attacked once, Sagan suffered a wound and failed to wound in return. And now the Blue Rasetsu is once more. So 1, 2, 3. Sagan is engaged, therefore he is not allowed to react. The Onimarauder, the Blue Rasetsu, sorry, it's not an Onimarauder, has 1, 2, 3 reach, 1, 2, 3, and no line of sight here. So this is not able to do anything. But now which is the target in its active role. Closest enemy, 1, 2, 3, 4. So an area 1, and as soon as it is here, an area will attack. Any walk towards enemy, stop 1 if able, idle if true. So with this, 1, 2, 3. But as soon as the Oni Marauder enters this field here, where the activation point now lies, an area will activate. 1, 2, 3. Theros cannot activate it, but as I said, an area because 1, 2, 3, and she will activate or react, as more precisely, by casting. Yeah, she will cast the Frost spell. The child becomes immobilized on a hit, and that is my whole goal with her. Where's the die? Here's the die, 16 or less. It's a 12, so the Oni Marauder is frozen here. And it is not removed because it is not a distracted one. Place encounter 3 on 3. 1 space north of. Facing the entrance, if attracted to. Okay. The more I play the scenario, I'm more thinking about that the Blue Rasetsu shouldn't be moved. So it should stay here, it should stay there, it should stay there, so that the narrative makes more sense. Yeah, it is frozen there. 1, 2, 3, and becomes immobilized. Let's see if it is wounded. Moral check. Yeah, with a 9, she has a moral of 12. She was able to do so. And with this, yeah, the Oni Marauder is frozen, and the damage roll, armor of 3, power of 11, 8 or less. It's a natural 1. The Oni Marauder is even wounded. I will just put it down here. It has 8 wounds. Sentinel, Vigilance, Menacing, Demon. Okay. And with a 9, let's just check. Demon. I think Demon makes -2 on the moral check. But one way or another, it is now here. And also, since it is frozen, it is not able, it is still able to do use the walk, and now it will use the Tormented Soul on an area. Is it able to cast it with a roll of 15 or less? Natural 1. Tormented Soul also ignores armor already. Power 13. 20 is not enough, but it is a large blast. So it is all in the space and 1 adjacent space chosen by the attacker. So Theros will also be hit with it. 13 or less. 16. So both are not wounded. Therefore no poison too. And with its last activation, it will once again activate. And since it is immobilized, it can't move. Therefore it can only cast Tormented Souls once again. But Nara will Nara activate? She will get into the blast radius. She will not activate. She can't activate. Sagan can only activate. And he is good where he is. Is he able to cast it? With an 18, he's unable to cast it. So, with all of this, let's get into the heroes phase, and I'll see you then. I forgot to draw the Chaos card last turn on the hostiles, so spawn 1 tier hostile on the exit. So we will putting another one up to here. And until the next hostiles phase, all undead hostiles gain +1 speed, +1 reach, +1 poison 1 if there's another hostile within its awareness, which would have been here and there. So basically this undead would have been 2 spaces closer. And the one up to here at the top had a movement of 3, so it would have 6 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it would have also once again 3 closest enemy, 1, 2, 3 would have been in contact with Anari. who still had her activation points, and then it would have attacked with 1, and every foresight it would have hit 10 or less to wound, it would have not wounded, and Aneri would have used it to dodge away. So, with this little small piece corrected, let's jump right into the hero's turn, starting with Nara, who will cast necrotic wounds onto herself to get the cleave ability. And now 1, 2, 3, 4. This is just enough for Theros to activate and throw the soporific grenade in an attempt to incapacitate the Blue Rasetsu until its next turn. So the Blue Rasetsu, since there's nothing 1, 2, 3, it is not in reach. It will use its reaction to dodge and see if it is able to do so. So first of all, Theros, accuracy of 14, -3 because of the mist, 11 or less. It's a 6, which is enough. The Rasetsu has an agility of 12. With a 17, it failed. Let's see if it passes the mirror check halved value, so 8 or less. With a 6, it successfully managed to avoid the effect of the soporific grenade. Sad. And it is allowed to dodge 2 spaces, 1, 2, getting up to here. Now, let's see what we can do now. Since in its reactive, it will make target of attacker outside of 3 inches, line of sight to enemy within 3 spaces, which is now the whole party here. And with this, I think that Sagan will activate next. He will attack the Forgotten Hero, who in turn will attack with its corroded sword. 14 against 14. And Sagan will use his Master Parry to reduce the Forgotten Hero's defense to 11. With a 4, it still hits. And Sagan, 13 and 11 is enough to also to win the confrontation. Now I forgot to I didn't cast anything previously, so this time the Forgotten Hero's armor of 6 is not ignored. And he has a power of 15, so 1, 9 or less. It's a 3 and a 5, which is enough to destroy this Forgotten Hero. So down it goes. And now let's see. Sagan is not within 3 spaces, which is good. He would get an attack of opportunity from this Forgotten Hero, but I think this is the best I can do right now. So Sagan will activate. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's getting into contact. Since here is an open space, the Rasetsu will activate 2. These 2 will activate. And Sagan, 1, 2, 3. Now he will still run. He will not try to dodge anything. So the Blue Rasetsu with his Tormented Souls needing a 15 or less. It's a 6. This is successfully cast, and now it needs, since it has a profane element and Sagan has the warding pelt, it will be halved. Therefore 7 or less. It's a 4. Sagan gets a wound, as well as the poison 2 condition, which is the poison state, and the poison state, do a toughness roll master in its strategic phase, on failed suffer 1 wound. So really nasty. The Forgotten Hero with a 6, it also hits, power of 13, -6, 7 or less. 19, it does not wound. But as mentioned earlier, where is it here? Sagan now becomes poisoned. But in close combat, so it engages the Blue Rasetsu, therefore it cannot use any ranged attacks now, which is great. Because now I think I have Cure as 1, healing and ranged, and this is absolutely necessary. And now we will cast the cure onto Sagan. Let's see if she's she's an enchanter, I just noticed. So luckily, I noticed it before I resolved it. And enchanter does, I don't find it here, that she does not have to cast. It's also healing and range. Sorry, it is not an enchantment. Okay. Since this is a healing, the 19 failed to heal Sagan of his wound. And classes, enchanter cast enchantments on others without roll. Okay. This is quite bad. But she will use this chance to cast. What she cast? No, Theros will activate next. Because he has the sniper rule, he can ignore the melee penalty. And he will attack the Blue Rasetsu, who will dodge because it is outside of reach and cannot cast range attacks. So Theros attacks 13 or less. 14 or less, sorry, he misses. And the Blue Rasetsu still dodges one space closer to Theros. But now out of activation points. So I believe I forgot to give the Tormented Soul for Vengeful Spirit, sorry, activation points. Line of sight, enemy within. Okay, as soon as I'm within space, it will also attack. And Neri has one attack, and Nara has 2 activation points, and she still has the Cleave and Poison too. Yeah, this might be dangerous, but I believe she has to do that. Stealth, it is there. Bleed, power 14, armor 3. The problem is that Anari is now also within close combat reach of the Oni, who is medium sized. Yeah, she will cast. My enchanted model suffers 2 weak points and minus 3 armor, cannot declare movements or actions other than idle and nothing. Beginning of the strategy phase, enchanted model may perform. Okay, yeah. She will spend her 1 mana token. And the charm is only as a reaction, declaring a reaction, okay. And she will cast Deep Freeze onto the Oni. With a 6, it is successful. So, with the Deep Freeze in play, now Nara is unopposed, and she will have total of 6 attacks against the Oni Marauder, Oni Blue Rasetsu. So she will activate 1, 2, jump into. She will attack 2 times, and the Vengeful Spirit also will attack 2 times her, unopposed. So let's start with the Vengeful Spirit. First attack hits, ignoring armor, 10 or less. This is the first wound onto Nara. Second attack will fail to hit. Okay. And now Nara with her 6 attacks in total. First 3, offense of 14 or less. 8, 16 and 4, 2 hits. Armor minus 3 because of the Deep Freeze, so no armor. 14 or less. Okay, 19 and 15, which is a weak point. No, 3 weak points. He is sadly a power of tier 4 enemy. No wounds, and the next attacks 5, 10 and 19. Once again, 2 hits. 4 and 5 is enough to wound him 2 times. which results in a total of 4 additional wounds. So now it has 5 wounds in total from the 8. And it suffers, since I cast the necrotic wound, it gets poison 2. Come on. Poison 2. And also the bleed condition. Where is the bleed marker? Here it is. So, poison, bleeding, do a toughness -6, and bleeding do a toughness roll. And the Blue Rasetsu is also frozen deep. Okay, with all this, I will prepare the hostiles' turn and see you then. Okay, before we continue with the Terror Embrace, which I had drawn for the Chaos card, I think I forgot to allocate some weak points to my heroes. I'm not sure how many of these are, but it feels at least right that Nara has 2 and Anari has 1. Theros, I think, wasn't affected at all so far. And now, each hero has to make a moral check, -3 because the hostile is of tier 4, and that is 3 or higher. And each hero that fails it has to walk away from the hostile. So in this case, the Blue Rasetsu, and also -2 because the Blue Rasetsu has the menacing 1. Starting with Anari, moral of 12, -5, 7 or less. It's a natural 1. She stays where she is. Sagan, 12 or less. It's a 3. Theros, 6 or less. He is walking 1, 2, 3 right to the skeleton. And Nara, 9 or less. It's a 5. She stays where she is, so only Theros gets into contact with an hostile. So, with all this done, we have a few things to resolve for the at the beginning of the next strategic phase. The enchanted model may perform a toughness roll. On a success, the enchantment is removed. So, toughness roll of 15, as we can see here. But we also have a toughness roll for the bleeding and a toughness roll for the poison. Let's begin with the bleeding. It's a 16. This is enough to put another wound onto the Blue Rasetsu, so therefore it is at 6 wounds in total. Now the poison, -6, so 9 or less. It's a 4. This one it managed to perceive, so therefore no wound this turn. And now the deep freeze, with a 20, it stays frozen in the strategic phase. So, that was that. We resolved the Chaos deck. And now starting with the lowest tier hostile, which is either the Bone Walker or the Vengeful Spirit. I'll start with the Vengeful Spirit, who will attack Nara, which will trigger the Protector skill from Sagan, who will go up to here and become the new target. And the Vengeful Spirit, 10 or less, with a 16 it failed the attack roll. And I will just continue here because the Vengeful Spirit, let's see, 1 to 10 Nara. It's Nara. Sagan will once again use his Protector skill for free, thanks to Guardian of Love. And the Vengeful Spirit will once again fail because it only has an offense of 10, as we can see here. Now, let's go to the Bone Walker, and I will just allocate these 2 points here because none of the heroes currently has reacted. So the Bone Walker will attack Theros, and Theros will use a dodge action to avoid the attack. So Theros dodge with an 11 is successful. So now the hostile needs critical hits. With an 11 and a 3, it fails to do so. So Theros is allowed to dodge 1 Yeah, 1, 2. The hostile, the Bone Walker will activate again. 1, 2, once again into contact with Theros. And Theros will try to dodge once more. With a 6, he successfully dodges. Let's see. 16 and 13, the undead would, the Bone Walker would have also failed to hit, so Theros goes up to here. Okay. Now, the Forgotten Hero activates, and in its active turn, let's just see. It has no engages in it, it has no line of sight because here is a black line. So therefore it will walk 2 spaces. Yeah, 2 spaces. 1, 2. Still now around in line. Second activation, 1, 2. Here it is. And now since it has line of sight, it will attack the closest one. Yeah, closest enemy. 1 to 10, once again Nara. Now this time he will try to attack Sagan, -4. With a 5, he still hits Sagan. Power of 15, power of 13, minus armor 6, so 7 or less. With a 4, Sagan is wounded and Sagan becomes incapacitated. Oh, yeah, Sagan could have also tried to dodge because he still has activation points. Yeah, I will just try it and... Oh, okay. Back he goes. Sagan is still at 2 wounds. He dodged successfully. Therefore no successful attack roll. And now it gets quite interesting. Because of the Deep Fry, during an active roll, enchantment may declare assist targeting itself, perform a toughness roll on successful... Okay. So, now this will trigger quite a few attacks. He will make a toughness roll. This will trigger from Nara an attack. This will trigger from Sagan an attack. This will trigger from Anari an attack. And since no other hostile is here, this will trigger from Theros an attack. Starting with a toughness roll. 15 or less. It is successful, so no longer Pride Deep. And a lot of attacks onto it. Starting with starting with Sagan. Because Sagan has 2 attacks and he will second wind this to get a total of 3 attacks. With a total of 3 attacks and defense of 14. 14, 2 and 11. 3 hits. And now power of 15 minus armor of 3. So 12 or less. He has... I think he has still the Melting Touch. Yeah, I cast it last turn, so Melting Touch, he ignores it, I believe. 5, 8 and 18 and 11. 1 to 10 he still has Melting Touch, otherwise I forgot. 1 to 10 he still has Melting Touch, so these are 2 additional wounds, getting it up to 8. And the carcass is burned, so this Oni Marauder is down, thanks to Sagan. Okay, and I most likely believe if we are going to encounter 3 that the Oni Marauder will disappear anyway, and it was only an illusion, but it was enough to keep this party busy, so everything might be fine. So with this, I will prepare the hero's turn, and I'll let you join afterwards. Okay, with anything return to state 0, more or less, for at least in regards of the enchantment, Nara will cast Soul Leech onto herself because it affects undead as opposed to Leech Life. And also she gets magical attacks, which might be useful against the Vengeful Spirit. But before that, Sagan will activate first, and he will use a dodge action to dodge 1 space and cancel the engage state with the Vengeful Spirit, which will activate also as the Forgotten Hero. The Vengeful Spirit attacks. With a 20 it fails. the Forgotten Hero will try to attack, and with another natural 20, it also fails. So this was quite good, because I didn't want to get Nara another wound, because then she would be out of action. She will be incapacitated. That was the word I was looking for. And now next, will Sagan activate? I think that, yeah, Sagan once again will activate. If he goes down, Nara can revive him. So Sagan will activate. He gets into contact with the Forgotten Hero and will attack him. The Forgotten Hero in turn will attack Sagan. So with this, Sagan has 2 strikes, the Forgotten Hero has 1, and Sagan will use Masterful Parry to reduce the attack value of the Forgotten Hero by 3. So it has only a defense of 11. Natural 20. Theros die is really not good this turn. 14 or less. 17 and a 5. A 5 is enough, but more importantly, the Forgotten Hero is out of activations. 15 minus armor of 6, 9 or less. It's a 5. This is enough to wound the Forgotten Hero. And since it's an undead, it is immune against Bleed, and there is no other creature in this space, so no sweeping. Now, with all this done, we can go to Nara. Nara will attack the Vengeful Spirit, which in return will attack 2. So the Vengeful Spirit, defense of 8. With a 2, it is successful. And now the Vengeful Spirit, when attacking, okay, it had AP, so 2 strikes only. With an offense of 14, 3 and 5, just barely, but enough to beat the confrontation against the Vengeful Spirit. Since she had Soul Leech cast onto herself, this is a magic attack, therefore power 14 or less. Yeah, 2 wounds. The Vengeful Spirit is destroyed. And whenever the enchantment roll successfully deals a wound. So from this, she was able to get 2 mana points, which is great for the owner. And since she used, this was her first activation, and since she used an attack action, she can now hit and run. 1, 2. Is it possible? It is. Yeah, it is a 3 space, a 3 model space. So she gets into the same space as Sagan. And now she will once again attack. This time the Forgotten Hero is out of activation points, so now it's 3. And since she's in the same space as Sagan, her offense is boosted to 15. And with that, the natural 20 is still a fail. But the 9 and the 3 are hits. Power of 14 minus armor 6, so 8 or less. And here we have an 8 and a 20. It's funny that Sagan's die and Nara's die became 20, while Theros dice, who rolled the 20s before, now became an 8, and the deciding die to destroy the Forgotten Hero, granting Nara another mana token, so a 3rd one. And since this was again an attack, she's allowed to walk. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, and Nari 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, she's not able to do that this time. So now will 1, 2, 3 go up to here. Now Theros and Nari are still there, and here's still a Bone Walker. With all that, let's see what we can do here. The Bone Walker has an armor of 2. It is here, armor of 2. And I think I will start with... It has a defense value of 10 also. Theros has an offense of 13, accuracy of 14. Maybe this might be stupid, but I will use Theros. 1, 2, get into contact with the Bone Walker, who in turn will react with a defense roll. And then +1 strike in an active roll when not whatever, and attacking an enemy that has melee reached the same space, which is here the case. So Theros has a total of 3 die. Let's get the white die, and the Bone Walker has only 1 attack. the Bone Walker with a 5 managed to at least participate in the confrontation. And Theros rolled, this was a 7 here. An 18, which is a general fail. And a 15, which is also a general failure. So, but the 7 is enough to win this confrontation. And now he has a power of 11, assassination 1, power of 17, minus 2, 15 or less. And it's a 17, which is not enough. So in the next turn, Anari will activate. Will she? Will she not? Nah. Let's continue with Theros against the Bone Walker. So let's see, Theros, 13 or less, 2, 3, and 9. 1 or 10 would be bad for Theros. It's a 7, which cancels out the 2 and the 3, which are here. But the 9 still cancels out the 7 of the Bone Walker. Once again, at 17, 15 or less, and with a 5 this time the Bone Walker is destroyed. So, and with all this done, I will use Anari to walk 2 spaces up, and she will cast the Melting Touch on Sagan for the first activation. And second activation, she will go up to here and cast Melting Touch on Nara. So, the board is cleared so far. Let's see what the opposing turn is. Freezing Wind. If there's no weather effect, apply this card. The entire field is considered freezing. Freezing is a weather condition you will not find in the rulebook, but in the errata. And freezing is during the strategy phase. A model must perform a toughness roll plus armor modifier. On a fail, the model becomes fatigued. Models with 1 or more wounds must then perform another toughness roll. On a fail, the model suffers 1 wound. So this is really a bad weather effect for me. And it will now apply to the hero's next turn. So during the strategic phase, where Nara casts onto herself, what will she cast onto herself? She will cast... Yeah, let's go with Spectral Sight. Here, advantage against Undead, just in case. And now, toughness rolls plus their armor. And Nari has 11. She failed it. And the fatigue condition, is it mentioned here? Demon, knockback, it is not mentioned here. I will just look it up and I will tell you what it does. Okay, fatigued here causes the model to not gain any activation points during the upkeep phase. So basically she's out of action for this turn. And as written in the freezing environment, she also now has to make a toughness roll or suffer a wound. With a 12, she is incapacitated. So basically I believe that this might come down to a TPK. Let's continue. The most important one, Nara, has a toughness of 12 and an armor of 3. So with a 7, she passed it. Sagan, toughness 13, armor 6, 19. He rolled, of course, a 20. He is also fatigued. And where is it here? And let's see his toughness roll of 13. He will fail. He will also become incapacitated. And now Theros, toughness 11, armor 2. Scorching Dart survival. I'm just looking for survival because this could become handy, but not the case. Theros rolled an 18, so he's also fatigued. Just using the confused token. And now his toughness roll of 11. He didn't froze to death, at least. Okay. Bad news. So, for the profane burner, glance by performing interact action. Okay. Starting with Nara, she will move onto the space And second chance has 8 spaces. Now she will cast it because range has also a chance to miss. And cleanse the burner first of all. So, and now she will use a walk action, 1, 2, 3, and cast Soul, second chance, onto herself and onto Sagan. Yeah. So she will roll to die, end of 13, 11. Okay, this is enough to heal herself up and avoid dying. So, with all of this, only Nara is the only one who regains any activation points in the hostile's turn, because the rest is all freezing or incapacitated in case of these two. And the Chaos card, Daylight Vitality, it's not the case, since we are here at the dawn. It's a night. Spawn 2 tier 1 hostile space in front of the first hero. So let's go with, let's see, 1 to 10, 11 to 20. It's 1, the same roll again, and it's 2, Vengeful Spirit, in front of, let's go with here and here. Nara is the only one with activation points, and it is the closest enemy, so this one walks into the same space and attacks. Luckily Nara has the Foresight skill, so let's see what will, it will go this. Let's see what will happen. 11, it misses, and the second is a 19, 2 misses, so Nara luckily didn't have to activate anything. This Vengeful Spirit will attack. Also Nara will try to wait. 20 misses and a 7 hits. Nara will use her defense to attack back. With a 15 she fails, so 1 hit. And a 17 fails to wound her, but she still gets a weak point. This time I remembered. Now, it's the hero's turn. Incapacitated. So, Nara, 9 is fine. Theros, 14 is 1 too high, so Theros is still freezing. Did he get any damage? With a 4 he does not get any damage. Nara will cast, these are undead, so, and she's not wounded. Nara will cast, she will cast Backward Sight just to get advantage, because now she has to activate and attack. She attacks the Vengeful Spirit inside her own space. Yeah, and will get 2 retaliation attacks from the undead. So, Spectral, first of all, the Spectral that is unopposed with an 18 failed. The Spectral that is a confrontation, it's a 5. Nara, 14 or less, 2 natural 20s. Luckily, she has advantage. I forgot which one I rolled. I believe it was this one, and only knocked this one out. I will just re-roll it. And it's still a 20, so she loses the confrontation. The Vengeful Spirit with an 18 failed to wound, but puts another weak point onto her. Let's try this again, but hopefully better. Vengeful Spirit, unopposed, is a roll of 15. In the confrontation, it's a roll of 9, which is above its defense value of 8. And now Nara has a 15 and a 17. Gains advantage against undead, so it stays. And it's once again a natural 20, so basically Nara failed to do anything meaningful. I believe that the freezing winds are the one that are now destroying this party. Because Theros is still fatigued, he can't do anything, so the Vengeful Spirit's turn. Let's see what the Chaos card does. To highest tier hostiles, remove all states, and shuffle it back into the deck. I will just shuffle it back into the deck. They are not, or I will do it afterward. Let's see. The first hostile in contact with a 7 hits. Nara will try to dodge it. With a 12, she successfully dodges it. And she will go into the same space as Sagan just to improve her odds. Then this Vengeful Spirit will move 1, 2 and try to attack again. With a 9, it once again hits. And Nara will she attack? No, she will wait this one out. 15 fails to wound her, but she gets another weak point. Oh, Nara is taking hits left and right, or at least wound points. This Vengeful Spirit will attack. Nara will wait. 20 is not enough. Second attack. It's a 3. Nara will react. Now, since she's in the same space as Sagan, she has a defense of 15. With a 7, she wins the confrontation. She's still empowered by the advantage against Einheits, backward side. With an 18, this is not enough. And I'm unsure if advantage allows her to reroll the die. I will just look it up, shuffle the card in the deck, and then maybe I will reroll the die. Okay, I looked it up and it says during an attack sequence, and an attack sequence includes attack rolls and damage rolls. So, trying again, this time with a 2, it is enough to destroy this undead. And she is once again out of activations. Now, let's see again. Nara with a 19 is fatigued, but she has 2 wounds, so that she does not have to roll. Theros is also fatigued. Great. The highest tier gains 1 extra HP this turn and shuffle it back into the deck. So 3 attack at Nara. First one fails, second one fails, and third one also failed. 19, 17 and 18 in total. So I will wait it with it. I will just roll for Nara. 13, luckily this time she managed to avoid the freezing winds. And Theros with a 12 also managed to avoid the winds. Wow. As you can see here, I'm a little bit frustrated because of this weather rule. In this instance, it doesn't really make much fun. So Nara once again will cast onto herself the Spectral Sight to get advantage. And I will start with her. Will I start with her? I will start with Theros. 1, 2, 3, getting close, shooting the hostile, which will use its activation to dodge. 1 space closer. Theros rolled a 2 to hit, using his assassination 1. Total power of 17. Of 17 reduced to half. It's 8.5, so 9. With a natural 1, the Spectral is also banished. Okay, Theros' first activation, that was glad because now Nara can try to cast Second Wind on Sagan. Natural 1 and an 18, so at least Sagan gets up, is not incapacitated anymore, and he also receives 1 activation point because of Second Wind. And now Nara can try to do the same with Anari. 10 and 4, which is enough to bring the health 1 caster or hit point 1 caster back onto her feet. So, with this, Theros once again activates. 1, 2, and 1, 2 goes here. Stays next to Anari, and Sagan 1 goes up to here. Will I move with anyone else? I will not. So let me reshuffle the deck and then see what the Chaos deck brings next. Okay, the deck is reshuffled. Let's see what the Chaos deck, the highest tier hostile against 1 extra HP. There is no hostile, so I will jump right into all of the rolls. So let's see. Anari needing 11 or less. 17, she's fatigued, and with an 18, she's once again incapacitated. Because she only has 1 wound. With 1 or more wounds. Models with 1 or more wounds must then. Okay. If they're fatigued, they all must roll. Okay. Didn't saw that. Sagan is fine. Nara is not fine because she would have needed a 15 or less. But she does not suffer wound. So she is also, she's fatigued. And Theros with a 12 managed to stay where he is. So, I will just mark it this way. Okay. As I mentioned. Okay, wait a second. Theros would have used his range ability to get one closer, so that he can now walk 1, 2, and trigger encounter 3. As you take in the interior, flickering torchlight casts shadows over faded murals and shattered relics, visual scriptures once devoted to Rishan's teachings and ideals. What was once a serene sanctuary has been twisted into a grotesque altar of sacrifice, defiled by the savage worship of the Oni. The Rasetsu speaks in a low, mocking tone. I really believe that it should have stayed there with nothing else, and also the previous encounters. Welcome to my domain, welcome to Mount Senjo. As much as I am usually a gracious host, I am afraid I have other guests to attend to, he said with a theatric smile, his voice laced with sarcasm. After all, the undead are far more grateful. They do not demand food or courtesy. Nevertheless, I trust my retainers and thralls will take you on a memorable tour. With a sneer, he turns his gaze to the brood within. Drunkard, show them how we welcome those who came unannounced. He chuckles darkly before nodding at you with grotesque amusement. Farewell. His form begins to dissipate, slowly vanishing into the mist. Sprawled lazily on the tatami floor of the desecrated altar is a brutish figure, a war-worn ogre, older than any you've encountered, bloated with rice wine. His low mumblings fill the air as he takes another swig of the large barrel beside him. Noticing your presence, the creature pauses mid-drink, his mouth still full of liquid. With a swift, reckless motion, he sprays the wine onto his heavy mace and ignites it with a fire stick. Setting it ablaze, chanting in a grotesque, guttural tongue, he casts an ominous shadow that spreads across the hall. Place one Onimuraga Drunkard on 5, one Wenswasbill on 6, another on 7. The four Forgotten Heroes are resurrected, facing the heroes. So this was here and here. Fallen Onimura gains 1 HP. That was, I believe it was here. And place a common loot token on 8. Remove the Blue Rasetsu. Remove a hostile from the field using Burn Trade, explode weak points on the Marauder. Take Fate A and read 1 death, otherwise read B. Okay, so you are getting up, having already, what was it? 3 wounds and getting all HP back. You are placed somewhere, you are getting up, you are getting up, and you are placed somewhere. So let me place all these, reshuffle the deck, and then we will see how it will go on. Okay, I forgot to reshuffle this into the deck, but I will do it afterwards. The Drunk Oni Marauder also has +1 stamina, sweep 1, burn 1, and poison 2. I do not have enough activation points because heroes and reasons, but let me just put it. I think since Nara is fatigued, I can put it down here. And since Anari is out of action, I will just put these 2 here. Starting with Sagan. Still, he moved 1-2 spaces, so this was his first activation. With his second activation, he will dodge 1-2, then the attack rolls of these 2. The first one, 15 misses. The second one, 12 would hit, so therefore Sagan makes a dodge. With a 20, he fails. Now trying to wound Sagan. With a 17, it is not enough, but Sagan gets a weak point. And he's allowed to dodge to come 1 space closer. These 2 activated once each. So now Theros will activate. He will also, with his first activation, use a dodge action to reposition a little bit, triggering 2 attacks. Starting with this one, a 2 would hit. Theros trying to dodge. With a 2 he successfully dodges. The other Forgotten Hero also trying to hit. With a 14 it just hits and the dodge is a failure. And with a 7 Theros, it has a power of 13 minus the armor of 2. Yeah, it is enough, and since it has the stagger trait, Theros is also out of activations. So now I'll have to reshuffle the deck, and then I will see what will happen next in the hostile's turn. Okay, with the hostile's turn. Let's see what we get for the dense haze. Now with that played, entire field is hazy. If there's a will card. Okay, both cards are discarded. Luckily. So I basically only have to survive somehow this turn. And let's see what their active closest enemy, which would be Nara, but starting with the lowest tier, which are the ghosts. 1, 2, 3, 4, running onto Sagan, and then it will check. Sorry, before that, one after another. Oni Marauder. Activate first, and it is now strike run towards enemy. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Next activation, it will do the same again, or at least get into one space. Here with Nara, she is still fatigued, so therefore the Oni Marauder will attack her. She has 2 wounds, so I will accept that. And Sagan will not go to interfere. 17, the Oni Marauder first attack misses, and 18, the Oni Marauder second strike. Sorry, strikes, not attacks. Both 17 and 18 both miss. Lucky for Nara. Then this Brute. Since it will also activate first, since it's still an Oni Marauder drunk card. Normal Oni Marauder, extra strike. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. It will also run towards Sagan. And it will attack since Sagan is within reach of 1. Sagan has activation points. I forgot to put them there. Sagan has activation point. He is not fatigued. And Theros has activation points. So the Oni Marauder chief, I will say, or boss, will attack. And Sagan will use this. Will he make an attack? It doesn't make any sense because he only suffers from the protector skill, so yeah, Sagan will try to dodge the attack to get into the same space as the Oni Marauder. Oni Marauder successfully hits 1 with a 6, and Sagan with a 14 fails to dodge because he has an agility of 11, therefore he is staggered. He also will suffer the burn 1. Sorry, this is only after wound. So now 13 or less. It's a 13, he's already down, but he's not burned. So Sagan is also incapacitated. This was the first activation. Now, who will be hit? It will be Theros, so the Oni Marauder. Yeah, this is a 3 space, so Theros. Sagan makes space. The Oni Marauder moves up to here, removing the activation point, and Theros will. Yeah, he cannot use range attack, so he has to dodge. The Oni Sorry, I have to reroll. The Oni Marauder only has 2 strikes, not 3, so I will reroll this whole shenanigan. I thought it was also stamina, but it's only strike 2. So Oni Marauder, 5 and 5. Sagan with an 11 successfully dodges into the space. Sorry, that was my mistake. Now the Oni Marauder activates again. Sagan this time will activate 2. And he will reduce the Oni Marauder's offense by 3, so that the Oni Marauder has an offense of 11. And Sagan will attack by himself. So the Oni Marauder 11 or less. This one is an 11, 5 and 11. Sagan on his end has 10 and 10. 2 great roll, at least he managed to reduce the 5, and with a 19 he's not wounded. So now the Oni Marauder attacks again Sagan. With 214 he hits 2 times. The 15 is not enough, but the 6 is, and Sagan goes down and is burned, so he would also be removed from the field, but since it's a hero, I believe he will stay where he is. But that would be the dead state. A model regains 1 HP. I think dead models cannot be targeted, but I will read up on that. So now the lower tier 1, 2, 3, 4, getting up to here. Theros, will he activate already? Yeah, Theros will try to activate in this instance, and now he will wait because now the undead spirit has to get into his space, and Theros will use that to make a dodge. 7, it would hit. With a 12, Theros dodges successfully. He dodges into this space. This undead, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, attacking Theros again. Theros will use that to make, he will take that. He is hit, and with a 6 he is wounded, getting 1 wound. And now going to the Forgotten Heroes. Engage, line of sight enemy outside of idle. Enemy within same space. Okay, the undead heroes are archery-like, so Theros out of activations. First 2 attacks, 18 or less, 1 hit. Power of 13 minus armor 2, and Theros is down. And with this, oh, sorry, that was these 2 because Nara is only out of activation point, so he will attack with his corroded sword, 2 strikes. At Nara, 2 hits, power of only 11 minus the armor, so the first 2 are nothing. The second 2 is 1 hit, and the wounding roll, 17 is not, but Nara gets another 2 weak points. Nara is really lucky. I totally forgot that she is here. And also I believe she should have spent 1 of her mana points earlier. Now it's the hero's turn, or to be more precisely Nara's, because all other are out of activation. Yeah. Nara will cast onto herself the Necrotic Wound. And before that, I will read up what I can do with mana points. So I will see you in a bit. Okay, let's see what we will have. So I have an interesting idea, and we will see if it works, since sorcery is arranged for command undead. Basically, I will try to charm one of these, or maybe these, depending on how I'm feeling. But for that, Nara has to get out of melee range, which she's going to do with the Oni Marauder and the Forgotten Hero. And line of sight to an enemy within 1 inch, that means that she is in quite the pickle. But she also has the hit and retreat, I just remember. So first of all, she will cast Backward Sight onto herself. The Oni Marauder will attack as soon as she activates, so therefore she will try to dodge all of the incoming attacks. So let's see if she dodges. Okay, with a 17, that was it. The Forgotten Hero hits her, wounds her, that's the first wound, and she's now poisoned 1. This Forgotten Hero will shoot her. Now this Oni Marauder will hit her because it has a defense of 10 and natural 1, so yeah, that's game once again. Thanks for this very long try, and I will see if I will go to attempt number 4.